Welcome to the Whiskey Vault.
I'm Rex.
I'm Daniel.
He's a level 3 whiskey sommelier.
He's a master mooch.
And this is like, it's
Signatory.
It's legal.
It's bona fide. All right, we have a new magnificent bastard. Mark Clonower.
Mark Clonower?
Clonower.
Clonower, you magnificent bastard.
So he said, hey, you're gonna appreciate this.
Yeah.
Here's what it came in. He said, hey, I noticed that you guys, I was looking through your vault, and I noticed.
Going the wrong way here.
No. I noticed that you guys didn't have this one, so I got it for you. And you left me this, right?
Yeah.
Now Mark is here because his wife Mary,
Yeah.
who is a brilliant individual,
Yeah.
was attending class.
Okay.
He showed up for dinners.
Huh.
He's already mooching meals.
Yeah, he is. Good on you.
Yeah. And then he's like, hey,
Don't
I got you
mind
this.
if I do.
Then he says, hey, I got you this whiskey. And I'm like, oh, that's super generous. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I open it up, and it looks like that. I'm telling you, Mark is our people.
He got us
Yes.
2/3 of a bottle of whiskey.
It's more like 7/8, but it's good. I just thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
Mark is
Just he's making sure it's good.
yeah. He was. It was for he had our best interests.
Helping. Like
He
any
was-
good mooch.
He's just watching out for us.
He's
Now this
helping.
is Glenrothes. Now remember that's a Speyside whiskey.
Yeah.
Normally we have the bourbon cask, sherry cask edition, all these special editions.
Totally remember that.
This is an independent bottling that is 16 years old, unchill filtered.
Okay.
Glenrothes.
Yeah.
And it's also a much higher proof than what they tend to bottle Glenrothes at. Now, I'm not traditionally a Glenrothes fan. I enjoy it, but it's so sweet. I can only handle a small sip of it.
Dude, there is sweetness on the nose.
It's butterscotch. To me, it's Werther's Originals in a glass. Not this one. This one's got more earth and funk and wood.
Still a tremendous amount of sweetness.
Yeah, but okay, hang on. Don't drink that yet. I'm going to show you an example because I use the Glenrothes in when I do the 5 whiskey tour.
Yeah.
The Glenrothes bourbon cask
Yeah.
is the one that I use in the tour. Now this is a bourbon cask reserve, and smell that compared to the Signatory edition. Look how much sweeter the Glenrothes edition is.
I'm gonna need some more. It's not enough.
Yeah, you're killing me.
It's disappearing.
Nope, not happening. This to me is all sweet. This to me is sweet, but there's a I just figured out what it is. Light a match, and the smell of the first black sulfury smoke that comes off a match. That's what's in that glass. Right? Yeah, it's
Okay.
sulfury.
Okay, so
Yes.
I'm still getting sweet. You cannot convince me. There's not a lot of sweetness on the nose, but there is that trace of not even when the sulfur is like really smoked up and settled in, but that first moment where you're starting to get a whiff.
And by the way, this is not 16. This is 18 years old.
Oh damn,
Yeah.
that's a young adult.
So, what was that all about?
This show has become too peaceful.
Oh, you need more war.
Bring back the war.
Ah!
Bring back the subjugation of the dark mooch.
Knife, armed.
You know what? That doesn't make me nervous.
Be afraid.
The only time that knife makes me nervous is when
I'm flinging it at a glass.
Oh, God, no. Man, I would love to make more episodes like that if we had the time.
No, it's really a time factor.
That would be fun.
Dude, I tell you, an 18-year-old Glenrothes, it finishes with all of this earth and kind of sulfury, dark, charred notes that I've never found.
Yeah, you're not wrong on the, and it's not like stinky, nasty, not good.
No,
sulfur.
it's if sulfur could be a good smell. It's weird. You know what it reminds me of is in Texas when you have well water, if you don't run your taps for a while, the first time you run them after a while, the whole room smells sort of sulfury.
Dakota, that was Graham Craycraft, by the way, who said it was too peaceful.
Fair enough.
Invent more time for us, Graham. Do that.
Yeah.
Dakota Toweless.
Invent more time for us.
Yeah, do that thing.
What the hell?
You're on it, buddy. We're counting on you. Hey guys, huge fan, and I'm on the waiting list for the tribe. Nice. I've got a question about bottling whiskey in a place like Texas where it gets super hot and cold. Well, super hot. Pretty cold.
Hey, dude, the teens. That's pretty damn cold. This winter it was in the teens in Fahrenheit.
Really?
For weeks.
Yeah, it's like a day.
No. For at least 5 days in a row, and then a break, and then back again for 4 or 5 days in a row. It was low 20s and teens.
So, combined, like a week and a half.
Forget all you Canadian people who are about to email us that we don't know from cold.
Punish him. Would it be better to bottle the whiskey during the colder months so that the wood will excrete more whiskey and therefore add more flavors? Thanks, and keep on mooching.
Here's the thing. He's not wrong. So when you are in Scotland and you're going to sit on something for 10 to 15 years, it doesn't matter what time of year you bottle it or barrel it. Right?
Yeah.
Because time is going to work out all of those averages.
Sure.
In Texas, summers are so hot. You may only get it a few years before it needs to get out of that barrel as fast as possible, which means when you put it in a barrel will absolutely change how long it can stay in there based on how many cycles it's able to hit.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what the answer to that is, but I do know that you're right. We probably should test what happens when we barrel something in the winter versus barrel something in the summer, and how much longer we're able to sit on something based on which round of the wavelength of temperature we're on when we start.
For science.
I love that idea.
Chris Netherton. Daniel, could you please explain how distillers use the cut method that distillers use to get specific flavors? Okay. How do you use cuts to get specific flavors?
Okay. Are you ready to get super nerdy?
How much whiskey do
You're about to own a distillery.
Yeah.
And you're going to need to know about this.
I really don't.
Well, no. You're going to need to know about it, not to run the still.
Right.
But because we need to be blending things.
Sure.
And you're a part of the tasting process.
The
to decide
tasting process.
whether or not you think something tastes good.
Right. That's all I have to need.
Yes.
That's all I have to do.
You're going to need to know.
Which is better? This is. Then I can tell you.
Yes. You're going to need to know. Well, it's. Okay, so say for example we poured you something was a little too sweet.
I need to
and it
know
needed a little more earth.
how to say one sentence.
No, if you try something that's sweet
The
and it needs a little
sentence
more earth, you could say this needs a little more tails.
Service me some. You bring me all the samples.
Yeah.
And I present you with my omniscience.
Yeah. Okay, so here's what happens. Distillation is called fractal distillation. It's based on...
I've missed 5 in a row, by
Yes,
the way.
it's true. It's based on what temperature do different chemicals evaporate in the wash, right? So you have a wash that's, 8, 9, 10% alcohol or lower, and you're distilling it. As you heat it up, the first thing that comes off is methanol, which is actually really bad for you. Actually, it's the that can make you go blind or kill you, or at the least give you a really bad headache, right? So you start distilling, and as the still heats up, things start coming off because it heats up, and then you cool it.
Evaporates.
It evaporates, then it condenses.
Right.
Recondenses back into a liquid, and it starts dripping out. The first stuff is super high percent alcohol, 80 plus.
Right.
Right? And that is dangerous. So you want to get rid of that. That's actually called the foreshots. That's the first thing that comes off the still. You want to pull that aside.
Where's the money
that's
shot?
Dangerous.
We want the money shot.
Yeah. The next is the heads. Now you're into the stuff that you potentially could keep, but you don't want to keep the first part of it. So it's not all at once. This is not a line in the sand.
Does the head give the money shot?
This is a percentage. I can't answer that question. So at first you have heads and hearts, right? Hearts is the part that the part you want to keep. The first stuff is like 90% heads and then a little bit of hearts. And then as you go down, the heart cut gets wider and wider and the head cut gets lower and lower because there's not a line in the sand. There's a gradient.
It's the tails.
And then all of a sudden you're into the heart. The heart is the magic part of the whiskey. It's the most friendly, most approachable center cut, right? Now, You want to fractionally, when you're first doing this, you cut it, and still it will tell you this.
I was about to say,
Still it can.
I don't need to know anything.
No, Still it has great videos on
because I just call up Still It. We'll link his channel up here.
Go watch Still It. He does this, and he shows you him doing it.
Right.
And it's very well videoed.
Jesse.
And documented. Jesse at Still It.
Good guy.
So what you want to do is keep all the heads, and you keep it in chunks at first, until you understand how your still cuts things, right? So at first you may end up with 30 mason jars as you run a still. The middle part is gonna be the heart. The heart's the nice part. And then as you get towards the end, you get into the tails. Now the tails include other chemicals you make. No, it's the fancy one. Here, use that one. Okay, so the tails may or may not be good stuff. It may or may not be stuff that you want. And so,
you're not wrong.
What you're actually gonna do,
butterscotch and sulfur, you're not wrong.
Yeah. So what you're gonna do is start with the hearts and then add in heads and tails until you get the flavor you're looking for. The closer you get to tails, the more you get some of the richer, earthy tones.
Yeah.
But also the more you get wet cardboard. And so if you've ever had a whiskey that smelled or tasted like wet cardboard or old paper, they got too much of the tails. And it gets sweeter and sweeter, and then it gets bland. And so what's happening when you're making your cuts is you're choosing which part of the run to keep. And anything you don't keep, you run off to another tank and you distill it again another time to get everything you can out of it. That is a super nerdy, but vaguely accurate representation of what's happening in distilling.
Are you telling me I need to know this for a business?
No, you just need to be able to say, you need to be able to know at some point the heads are too much or the tails are too much on this.
Oh, I got that.
Yeah.
All day.
All right, so you super nerds just got a moment of greatness. You'll get way more of that with Still It than you will with us. All right, here's to fighting, stealing, and drinking.
If you fight, may you fight for a friend.
If you steal, may you steal a lover's heart.
If you drink,
may you drink
with us.
With us.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us in the Whiskey Vault. Don't forget to throw in a like, hit that subscribe button on the bottom right, and drop a question or comment down below.